Hello, so here we are again, Craster Campervan Kippers in our Citroen Relay van build. Now today what I'm going to be doing is fitting this monitor. Not really because I'm that fussed about exactly how much battery I'm using, but I'm just busy fitting a battery-to-battery charger at the moment, and I just thought whilst I've got the van to bits and got the wires all exposed, it would be a good time to fit this fella here. Okay then, so here's the kit that came in the box for, I think, a total, including postage, of £35. Now these battery monitors have been used extensively by a lot of different people, and there are a lot of people who will poo-poo them simply because they say they're made in China. Well then guess what? So is this iPhone 11 that I'm filming this with, and I'm very happy with that. So I spent yesterday taking out the driver's seat because that's where my leisure batteries are, and I just thought whilst I have the whole van pulled to bits, this would be a good time to fit this thing in there. Now I suppose a good bonus with this thing is that these English instructions are actually in English, and I know you can criticise instructions sometimes for the grammar not being exactly too clear, but these read perfectly okay. Now the kit arrived with this 2-meter interconnecting cable which connects the actual battery monitor to the 300 amp shunt. Now I've got a choice of 2 places in the van as to where I'm going to put this, and to be perfectly honest, I haven't actually made my mind up yet. So the van's been parked up for a couple of days because we're actually sneaking a couple of days in a hotel, and because I've got a solar panel on the top, you can see that the battery is at 100%. Now then, what I'm going to do is use the buttons from left to right. The first one is voltage. Press that. That tells you that my leisure battery is currently at 13.7 volts. Next to the middle, it shows that we're only drawing 0.14 of an amp. That will be because I've powered up the system and there will be something putting a slight draw on it. Press and hold it again, and there is the maximum capacity of my battery bank, 240 amp hours. And then across to the percentage, we have 100%. Now then, so you can see this meter responding to a load on it. I've put a cup of water in the microwave, and what I'm going to do now is just turn on my inverter to power up the microwave, and then you'll see it respond. Needless to say, I don't run the microwave for a very long time, because there it is, it's pulling 89 amps. Now we will let that run a wee bit, and then we'll have another look at the percentage, and then you'll see that that should have dropped, albeit slightly. Okay, so I've now run the microwave for a couple of minutes. You'll also notice that the arrow there is gone to minus. That means we're drawing power out of the batteries. And now, as I say, what I'll do is I'll just press the percentage, and you see it's now dropped to 99.5. We'll go back to the amp hours. That's what's actually being drawn. Press it again, and that is now the capacity of the batteries, 238.3. And the voltage, well, the voltage of the batteries, because we've put a load on it, has now dropped a bit. And now turn off the inverter. We now see it charging. That's because the solar panels are on. We'll see it's currently charging at 6.2 amps. And you'll also see that the percentage is beginning to increase. And if I leave that running now, of course, it'll go back to 100%. Now I took the 2-meter supply cable and I cut that, and I've soldered in a piece of computer RJ45 cable just to lengthen it, and obviously all of the soldering is done underneath that shrink wrap, and as you can probably see, I've got quite a bit spare coiled up. Doesn't seem to affect the workings of it whatsoever. And now with my solar panels isolated and the engine running, my Sterling battery to battery charger is currently putting in 2 amps into the battery. It's a 30 amp charger, but this is not surprising because the batteries are at 99 point whatever percent. Let me just have a look again. Yeah, 99.9. So it's basically just putting a float charge in at the moment. So here's my shunt mounted in front of the batteries, just underneath the front of the driver's seat. It looks like a right bag of spaghetti, but everything is labelled, and the sticky pads that were holding the shunt nicely to the battery have sadly come detached in the heat, but everything's safe like that. And when I put everything back together, you'll see that everything is secure and out of the way and unlikely to be tripped over or pulled or anything of the sort. And when everything's put back, this is how it looks. So as I can see, all of the wires, the shunt and everything else is fully protected. So then actually wiring this thing into your van couldn't really be simpler. As you can see, you've got the positives coming out from your battery to the leisure side, the habitation side of your van, in this case because we've wired this to a leisure battery. But you do have to take a small wire to the shunt itself to provide power to the shunt. You have the negative from your battery, in our case again the habitation battery, and then every other neutral that you have in your van, whether it be lights, inverter, fridge, anything and everything, must come back to here if you want to get an accurate reading. It's pointless putting using the chassis of the van as an earth, because then the shunt will not be able to give you an accurate reading. And then once you've done all of that, then the supplied cable, which as I've said, I've extended mine with an RJ45, you simply plug one end in there, the other end into your monitor, and then you're virtually good to go. So in conclusion, is this battery monitor worth 35 quid? Damn right it is. I mean, look, you don't need Bluetooth connectivity, or I certainly don't need Bluetooth connectivity. All I need to know is a rough idea. Have I depleted my batteries beyond a certain percentage? Can I put the microwave on? Can I put the coffee machine on? Do I need to park where there's a bit more sun? Do I even need to run the engine? And this certainly fulfills that purpose, and I highly recommend that you at least give it a go. So it's been a while since I've had the time to actually put together a couple of short films like this, and now I'm on holiday. I'm hoping to make the time, so there may be 2 or 3 others coming out in the next couple of weeks, and also possibly even a couple of short travel vlogs. If you're interested in watching them, great. If not, well then let's hope that some of these build hacks, or whatever you want to call it, are useful for you, and good luck with your build.